we are not going to go back in time, mostly because I haven't invented time travel yet, I'm trying. But if we were going to go back to 150 years ago, here's some events that would be happening in 1875. US Congress passed the Civil Rights Act, which actually at the moment may be more important than ever. Birmingham City Football Club was born. That's super niche. The Third Republic was established in France. What a strange way to start this video. Also doesn't actually work at all. I just rounded 150 up to 150, because actually we are going back way before that. Because yes, my American friends, this may go way over your heads, but we are going to talk about the football tournament, or the soccer tournament, known as the Football Association Cup, aka the FA Cup. Now do not worry, non-football fans, I am going to explain this to you. It is basically a big yearly tournament we do over here in the UK, and we don't just take the teams from the top league, we go all the way down the football pyramid, which essentially means you take every single squad that is eligible, and you throw them in a big pot and you say who's going to win, you can do it. Now I'm sure you see the title of this video, and yes, I do think you could take this kind of structure and copy and paste it over something like AEW, because they are always talking about, maybe we should be more of a sports presentation. And when this came up in the What Culture offices, I mean, they passed it through to me, I don't work in the What Culture offices, I was like, hot damn, that could be a good idea. So in case you are totally confused, the football pyramid is broken up into different leagues. So you have the Premier League, which you should have heard of, and then there's the Championship, there's League One, there's League Two, and there's also something called non-league football, which is semi-professional football, which means some people are like electricians or plumbers in the week, they turn up at the weekend, and they do indeed play football. Fair play to those guys, it's got to be hard. Now you do have to qualify when it does become an instant knockout tournament, which means eventually when you get to the later rounds, you can have a team that nobody has heard of taking on a team like Liverpool. And sometimes you do actually get upsets, and I promise you the entire media melts down. Now the odds are low of that, of course, but it just makes the upset even better. And another thing that pro wrestling, or I guess in this sense AEW, could take from it, is that when you do draw the new draws, that was a stupid sentence, that becomes an event in itself. I'm not kidding you, sports radio station or televisions, you can sit down and watch it. They'd be like, ball number 4 will take on ball number 7. You'd be like, hot damn, that's Accrington Stanley facing Manchester City. Now, of course, in the world of sports entertainment, that could be super duper fun, because it could be, oh my gosh, Kenny Omega is going to be taking on Leo Rush. You'd be like, well, I've never seen those two interact before, and I think Kenneth is going to win. But what if he doesn't? It works both ways as well, though wrestling can lean on this too, because if you are Accrington Stanley, you know you're going to make a bunch of money, because you are playing Manchester City. And if you're Man City, you're like, Accrington Stanley, we can whip their butts. We're definitely going through to the next round. As we've already chatted about, though, that is not simple. And back in 2013, Wigan Athletic won the FA Cup. I mean, that is still totally bonkers. And they got relegated from the Premier League that season. But do you know what 90% of their fans say? We are so happy we won the FA Cup. And you know what? If we could go back in time, we wouldn't change it. We'd still be relegated, as long as we had that day out in Wembley. Even in 2025, as I am talking to you, Plymouth Argyle, who were essentially second bottom in the Championship, went and beat Liverpool, who at the time were considered the best team in Europe. And yes, before the football fans go mad, I know that Liverpool didn't put out a proper first team. I don't care about that, man. I'm just explaining the facts. Also, once again, every single sports headline was talking about it. In 1972, Newcastle were also beaten by Hereford. Now it's like Hangman Adam Page entering the FA Cup and me defeating him. Everybody would be like, well, this business is in the gutter, that bald a-hole just got to win. So why do I care about all of this? Well, I'll tell you. I'm a big fan, as you do know, of John Moxley murdering people and stealing briefcases, because that's the sports entertainment side of wrestling. But right now in 2025, the wrestling side of wrestling could be, I don't know, stolen away more than ever. I actually think this idea of a tournament could work very well on a wrestling show. And so this is what we could do. The first thing would actually be quite difficult, but that's half the fun. Every single member of your roster would have to be eligible for all the reasons we just talked about. Of course, you could do the same with the women too. It depends how you want to devise this. And yeah, Tony Khan is going to have to sit down with some tops and say, I'm really sorry, you're going to have to lose. That ain't no different from any other day. That's basically the biggest hurdle all the time anyway. The A stars, or the typically top stars, also wouldn't arrive until the third round, which is also what we do in the FA Cup, because then it means you could have the lower tier stars, for lack of a better term, ensuring they get some wins, and then by the time they get to the third round, they're super excited, because again, maybe they can take somebody on like an Orange Cassidy, or ever float your boat. It also means the AEW Cup, as I've decided to call it, can build along the way, and not only would you be able to pick your favourites, but you would see these relationships developing as we did go through the weeks. And again, It's the whole point of wrestling. You just need to connect. You would also absolutely have to book upsets. Like, you would have to, not too many, because then it would become obvious and they wouldn't be upsets. But once again, if Leo Rush, our favorite friend, is on somewhat of a tear and he gets to the latter rounds, well, you should plant those seeds so we start going, is he going to win the thing? Maybe he does. It also means if all of a sudden he's drawn against, I don't know, Adam Copeland, it's not just a random match that's happening on Dynamite, even though it is quite random in the terms of these two wrestlers going together, but you can say, well, haven't you been watching the AEW Cup? You've missed weeks of story. Now, it would have to go a while for obvious reasons, and the winner would have to get something sizable, which is why we are all competing. But why can't it be a world title shot at All In? That's like AEW's WrestleMania. WWE does that with the Royal Rumble, so why the flub not? The draw we talked about as well has to be sold as a huge deal, and I bet Rennie Paquette could do a great job of that. But much like football or soccer, you can get special guests in, so maybe one time it's Renee and, I don't know, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. He's just having a great time. And also, if you are going to copy the real one, the legend has to get the names wrong and struggle to pick up the ball. I don't know, it's really weird. It also means beforehand you can do a fantasy tournament and go, oh my gosh, I hope it is Serpentico versus Jay White. Then you can feel warm and fuzzy in your tum-tum. But by the time the likes of a William Ospreay or Kenny Omega or an Okada or Claudio Castagnoli or an Adam Copeland, whoever, are entering the thing, you're just gonna feel the excitement, right? Plus, it can also tell your audience who right now we do see as our big stars. Like if Daniel Garcia has all of a sudden been moved to the third round, you can go, well, I get it, he may be about to get a push. Now, it's not like it's a million miles away from the Continental Classic, although there are some very definite details. But the only reason I wanted to talk about that is because Tony Khan proved he is very good at this when it comes to booking. Do you remember the first C2 when Eddie Kingston became the underdog hero? I mean, that was absolutely brilliant. It's not just about the big versus the small either, because let's say we get to, I don't know, round 5, and Renee Paquette pulls out Okada, then Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, after struggling, pulls out Kenny Omega. All of a sudden you'd be like, oh my gosh, we're going to do it again, and again the crazies won't be able to say anything, because it's the AEW Cup, damn it. It's totally random. Of course, it wouldn't be random when you would work it. Now, very sadly, you are going to have to plan for injuries, because there's no way you could get through one of these without somebody getting hurt, which does suck. But also, the opening rounds could be happening on a Ring of Honor or even some other independent promotions, and that way you can increase the draw there too. And all we're really doing here is adding context to what AEW does anyway, and given that they have done away with the rankings, well, this is just another way to sort of throw it out there, and hopefully it would be a bit more interesting and people would like it. I mean, narrative is important, and here it would just be, well, that guy's fighting that guy because it is round 6. And the real key would be choosing the big winner beforehand, because then you can meticulously go back through every single match. You can probably come up with some really decent angles. Now, there will be so many chess pieces to move as well. You just know some of these are going to be organic and come out of nowhere, and then you can jump in with them too. It sounds like a jolly good time. The format would also allow you to show off some matches nobody thought they'd ever see, and of course, you could utilize some squash matches too. You say that all the time in the FA Cup. The big team takes on the lower team, and the poor lower team gets beat 10-0. After like 7 goals, where it does get a bit sad. You can even use it to fuel current stories you do have, such as the Big Bill versus Chris Jericho thing going on right now. Maybe Billy Boy gets so far in the AEW Cup, Chris is like, man, I'm so jealous, and you know what I'm going to do? Screw you out of that opportunity, and then you can do that match too. And also, I think you'd have to keep in the likes of disqualifications and interference here. Listen, I get it. Wrestling overdoes that in 2025, but if Chris Jericho was the reason that Billy did get DQ'd, well, it would just add a little extra bit of ugh. Now, of course, there is every single chance this could be absolute gubbins. I don't know what I'm talking about. But if you walked in here a couple of years ago and said, I got this great idea for like a mystery gauntlet where random people just appear every 2 minutes and you can win at any time, you're like, well, that sounds a bit silly, but it's not. It's called the Casino Gauntlet. It's absolutely delightful. It just seems to be a sporting endeavor that wrestling in general hasn't touched, and I get it. Maybe that's because American sports haven't touched it either, and it's just a little bit too much, and us Brits are a bunch of idiots. I'm not going to argue with you, but I like it. When I like something, well, I'm going to support it to the hilt. That's why I like bald guys. We're in it together. I also just think it would be different, and as a man who is blessed to watch every single wrestling show that is on TV, I tell you, man, the best thing in the world is when wrestling does something different. It's like fresh bread, and it tastes great. Of course, on the other side, it just means you do have room to experiment, so even if something does fail, who cares, man? Just rub it under the carpet and carry on. Now, there was a lot to take in there, so any questions, please do ask me in the comments below, and I will do my best to answer you. Like the video, share the video, and subscribe. If you would like more of my thoughts about professional wrestling, click this video on the screen right now. Otherwise, I am Simon Miller, and I appreciate every single one of you. Have a terrific day. My voice is about to go. It's fun old times. See you soon.